Hey audience, get on your Adidas tracksuits, because today we're going to be talking about a relatively unknown breakaway state in eastern Moldova, which has Putin's favorite thing, a sizable Russian minority. So our story starts in the late 80s, when Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev increased the autonomy of the many Soviet republics. This led to a rise in nationalism in most of them. So the Moldavian SSR, in 1989, influenced by the radical Popular Front of Moldavia, had made Moldavian the only official language of the republic. Now, the many ethnic minorities, especially the Russian ones that made up about 40% of the Transnistrian region, were pretty peeved about this. Fast forward to spring 1990, and the Popular Front of Moldova wins the SSR's first parliamentary election. Back in Transnistria, all the ethnic Russians are kind of freaking out, so they declared themselves as their own Soviet republic and formed an ad hoc militia. With the Soviet Union dissolving faster than Kevin Spacey's career, Gorbachev, not wanting to lose favor of the Moldavian SSR, annuls the Transnistrian declaration, but then does nothing to stop them since, well, he had to focus on preventing the rest of his country from falling apart. War between the two sides finally occurred in 1992, after the Soviet Union officially dissolved. The newly formed Russia was interested in the conflict, however, as there was huge stockpiles of military equipment left there from the Soviet era that was supposed to go to Moldova. So the Russian 14th Guard Army, which was already stationed there, was, in true Russian fashion, ordered to advise and train the rebels. So, an interesting factoid about the conflict was how it was very common for both sides to stop fighting at night, cross no man's land, and then get drunk together. Then the next day just return to killing each other like nothing ever happened. By July 21st, 1992, with nearly 700 dead, a ceasefire was finally signed, which still remains in effect to this day. Surprisingly, Transnistria isn't internationally recognized, despite the fact that they're completely self-governing. There have been attempts to formally integrate Transnistria back into Moldova, but these attempts have yet to succeed. Current-day Transnistria is just a weird place. First off, most of the buildings there look like they're straight out of the Soviet times. But so does a lot of the rest of the former Soviet Union, so I guess I'll give them a pass on that. But what does make them stand out is all the Soviet imagery everywhere. Soviet symbols are still seen on signs and buildings all over the country. There's even a hammer and sickle on the passport and flag. Life in the country is also pretty bad, which has caused the population to decline by 15% in the last 15 years. Also remember the 14th Guard Army we talked about earlier? Yeah, well they're still there as peacekeepers. Also, they just happen to keep an eye on and make sure that no one goes near all the former Soviet weapon stockpiles. There is a strong movement to join the Russian Federation, and who knows, might be Russia's next target after considering what happened to Crimea. The peaceful incorporation of an ethnic Russian majority region into the Russian Federation. Thanks to Patreon, Skylar Weston and Emerson Salmerio Rubio. Also check out my Twitter @LoganProds and link to the Discord in the description.